Welcome to the Firestarters webcast series. My name is Steve Scheier. I'm a cannabis leadership cultivator, author, and speaker. I create advisory boards for cannabis leaders, and coming soon, I'm going to have my Cannabis CEO Council. I'm on a mission, however, to connect you to some of the most remarkable and creative people in cannabis and hemp. And today, I have a very special guest I'm really happy about, Claudia Post, from all the way from Philadelphia. Claudia, great to see you. I'm going to read to you from Claudia's LinkedIn profile a little bit because she has a really outstanding one. So Claudia is the founder and CEO of Most Consulting Group and Scarlet Express, which we're going to get into. She is a very seasoned leader and business owner, an experienced problem solver. And she founded Most Consulting, which focuses on strategy, marketing, advertising, and design for the cannabis industry. She is also, as I said, the founder of Scarlet Express, which is a state-approved closed-loop delivery system for cannabis. So, Claudia, it is thrilling, truly, to have you on the show.
Wow. What am I going to say after that introduction, Steve?
Well, I don't know, but I'm going to count on you to talk. Absolutely. So, Claudia, let's start out as we always start out. Tell us about the state of cannabis in your home state of Pennsylvania.
Okay, well, if you know me, I'm very direct and I don't bullshit. So the truth is Pennsylvania is idiotic. It is Philadelphia, Pittsburgh with Pennsylvania in between. Have legislators who are moronic, who still think that cannabis is a gateway drug. And we have, first they took away the vapes. Now they put them back again. Then they took them away again. I'm telling you, my head breaks open with the state of Pennsylvania in terms of cannabis. We are now going to be surrounded by other states, all of which will have recreational, and we are still dragging our feet here. And here we are. That's Pennsylvania.
That's Pennsylvania. So, Claudia, I know you have a really fascinating origin story in the cannabis world.
Yeah.
So please, everyone wants to hear the origin story. So please tell us yours.
Okay. So my son, Nicholas Gabay, a.k.a. Snick Barnes, that's SNCBARNES, is what is called a heady glass artist. And for those of you that don't know what heady glass is, it's real, true art. It is collectible. It's not just like a little one hitter that you put in your hand. It's works of actual art. And he has been in the industry for a really long time. And about 12 years ago, he came to me and said, Mom, you got to get into it. It's going to blow up. And Nicholas is an old soul, and he sure knew what he was talking about. And so I started a company called Smoking Hot Solutions. I didn't even know what to expect because it was very legacy, Cheech and Chongy in the beginning, if you will. I attended a lot of shows, not like an MJ BizCon, but like Champs and Metal, because those were his peeps. And then I had a young man who was an intern, and now he joined me, and his last name is Monk, my last name is Post, and together we're the most. That was my Now you want to know, I'm very full of stories. But Nicholas is the reason that I am in this industry today. So my hat always goes off to Nick. He is one sharp dude. There you go.
There you go.
Check him out in the cosmos. Go ahead.
All right. So tell us about your business and what it does. I mean, we talked about it briefly, but what is the raison d'etre, as we say? Actually, I've never said that on the webcast before, but what is the guiding principle of your business?
Well, it has changed. It has morphed. We do design. We do any kind of digital marketing. That's website, any of the digital platforms for our clients. We do, as I say, design, we do writing, we do strategy for our clients. And again, that has changed over the years because as everything, if you're not changing, you're dying. We also have written several applications. We've done application writing,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's basically what we do at most.
And talk to us about the delivery system and the delivery service.
So the reason that I started Scarlet really was because I have many years, although of course, if you look at me, I always say I'm 16. I had 20 years experience in transportation, chain of custody, distribution, warehousing, pick, pack, ship, and courier. 20 years. I had 12 locations up and down the East Coast. I've had many, many wonderful years in transportation. And then now with cannabis, I thought, well, maybe the world needs a delivery service that comes from a real transportation perspective, not somebody who just jumps in a car and says, oh, I'm going to deliver, but
Right.
with real technology, real understanding and of transportation. So that's Scarlet.
Yeah. And how many employees do you have, and have
I'm
what?
I'm in I'm in startup with Scarlet,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going into 2 pilots, and I'm excited about it. And that's where I am with
Uh-huh.
Scarlet.
Uh-huh. And what seems to be the market demand? Are people gravitating towards the service?
Yes, they are, albeit I will say that slowly,
Uh-huh.
because something new and because the industry is highly regulated,
Right.
and because people don't really understand how to do it.
Mhm.
They start like if people in Massachusetts, you know, they have very, very strict regulations. I mean, and they're having a hard time making money up there. Other places, as you know, this is a state by state
Right.
opportunity. And so you have to know, you know, what you're doing
Mhm.
as far as to that. Also, you have to have amazing software, which I do.
Mhm.
And so that's what I have to say about, you know, the delivery is coming.
The
People want
delivery is coming.
the
Got it.
deliveries, but they don't really know how to implement. They think it's a big deal, but we take all the pain away. And I'm not going to give away all the secret sauce. But if anybody,
There's no more secret sauce to be asked for. No, that's all good.
okay,
And but let's talk about, you also have a basically a marketing and branding and social media company as well.
yes,
So what are some of the challenges that operators in cannabis face, that you look at the problem and you say, wow, how come you haven't figured this out? Are there any sort of consistent challenges that people in cannabis consistently don't understand?
they consistently don't understand what you can and cannot say, and they
Oh,
can,
it's
that you can't just utilize certain words or phrases or you'll get shut down.
uh-huh.
Now, it seems that Instagram is on a tear after the industry and has been shutting down, you know, a lot of people. And so you have to be nimble and you have to work with people that know what they're doing in the space. I am very fortunate because I've met so many great people in the industry that if I need something that I can't do, you know, we do, I certainly will be able to harness the power of others, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there. Just out of curiosity, what are a couple? I'm not trying to be salacious. I'm just saying, what are a couple of words that people want to use that they can't use?
Can't use the word cannabis.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Here, end of story.
Uh-huh.
Goodbye. That's it. So
Uh-huh.
can't use.
Okay.
So that's what
I,
shut down.
and do you think that with Josh Shapiro's perhaps ascension to the governor's post, that things will improve in Pennsylvania?
Well, we have a wonderful governor now with whom I
Right.
worked originally on that bill. And I am going to be working for Josh to get him elected. I'm also going to be working with Fetterman, who
Right.
is, you know, he's the gentle giant in this in the hoodie, but he is obviously pro cannabis too, and obviously pro abortion. I don't know how to go. We're not going to go into that whole morass, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if we have, I wouldn't even want to say it. If we have that other person who begins with an M as a governor, we are going to be in Hungary here. So, not going to
And when you say Hungary, you mean Hungary, the country. You
be,
don't mean hungry, I'm hungry.
no, I don't mean I'm hungry. I mean, we're going to be,
It's going to be Viktor Orban all over again.
exactly, it's going to be repressive. So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, that sounds good. So, what are your hopes for the future of the industry? What do you hope will happen?
Well, I am hopeful that we'll have interstate commerce.
Yeah.
That that has its pluses and its minuses. Since I have operated in my past life interstate and intrastate, my customers were all over the United States and in Canada. I did in my other life all
Right.
kinds of transportation. I'm hoping that in some regard we'll be able to do interstate. I don't know what that's going to look like, actually, because some people could find that's going to be it's going to be difficult for growers, let's say in California, if they want to truck it across to the East Coast. What are those costs going to be? What's that going to look like? I mean, there's whole ramifications of that are far, widespread. So
yeah, I mean, we're going to have to really think all that through. This is one of the reasons why I'm really interested in the industry, is because it is so very much at its beginning state.
yes,
There are a lot of interesting and creative people such as yourself who are doing really interesting things out there in the world. But it's, very, very much a industry that is changing. In fact, I think you had a very good quote at the very beginning of the show where you talked about, if you're not changing, you're dying.
yes, that's right.
And I think that's a very, very, very wise, perspective. So I just came back from the, I don't know if you can see it, but I just came back I was a commencement speaker at the Cleveland School of Cannabis.
Love it.
Yeah, I went to Cleveland, Ohio last week. My wife-to-be was not really wild about me doing it because of just being on planes. And no, completely a COVID issue, not a cannabis issue, completely a COVID issue.
Would be,
Yeah, yeah. I had a message to the young people there about power, about my book Power Up, and about the ability to have power and to utilize your power. And I quoted the famous novelist Alice Wather: the easiest way people give up their power is to assume that they don't have any, right? So you're somebody who's lived a very powerful life, and you've taken a lot of risks, and you're not perfect, like I'm not perfect, like nobody's perfect.
no way.
And I guarantee you there have been times like I have stepped away from power that you have probably stepped away from power also. But of course, we're humans. So my question is, if you had something to say about power to young people, well, how have you utilized power?
Well, I would say to young people, and I really feel this, that a lot of young people have a tremendous sense of entitlement. And a lot of them think that they work at something for 1 minute and they should be president, or their ego becomes so inflated by they did something. Keep it humble. Remember where you came from. Be authentic. And that is your own personal power. Because when you start, look, I've had a lot of press, God knows. And I always say, the day that I kick back, put my feet up on the desk, pop the cork, smoke the cigar, is the day that it's over for me. So, stay humble. And it's not easy when you say power, whatever that means, you own a company or you don't. It's really about being graceful in your life, living grace. That maybe sounds a little bit esoteric, but I really believe that. And if you are not congruent with your own beliefs, and And they change, things change. I mean, of
Right.
course, life changes. I mean, I'm closer to the end than I am to the beginning. God,
You and me both.
I'm not right, but we're not dying tomorrow, right?
We're not dying tomorrow.
Right. But what I'm saying is we have to be able to be not take yourself so seriously, people. You know, you're not all that. Give it up. Park your ego at the door, empty the trash can. And, you know, that's what I have to say about that.
Okay. Well, one of the other important components of my book are that power comes from trust. If you're not trusted, you can't be powerful. So I'm sure in your experience, you've come across people you can trust and you can't trust.
Oh, yes. I'm sort of currently in that position. You know, once I can't trust you,
Right.
it's over for me.
Right.
That makes it very difficult. I trust, respect, they are on the same line. So
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So Claudia, as we wrap up here, tell us how people can reach you, because I'm sure there will people who will want to reach you, and I want them to know how.
I would hope so. Okay, it's Claudia Post. My email is, I have two, cpost@mostcg.com, or if you're interested in delivery, cpost@scarletex.com. My phone number, and I love calls because I'm old school, 215-298-1555. That's me.
That's you. Excellent. All right. Well, Claudia, thank you very much for being on the show today. We were both history majors back in the day, and I always love talking to a history major.